2 of work, kind of in the books. The 2 days of shoulder pads for University of Texas, San Antonio, UTEP, and UTSA. We've got a lot of UTs working right now. But really, I've had a couple really good days of practice. I really like the focus of this team, the way they've come out, the things that they're doing. We know we got a heck of a challenge this week, as we've talked about, with the talent that UTSA has, with the number of returning starters that they have, the experience that they have coming in. We know it's going to be a heck of a challenge, but I think the players have really been working hard, and we're excited to have the opportunity to get back into the conference, but most importantly to play at home. And so we're really looking forward to this week.
A little off-the-wall question tonight. Recruiting-wise, what position groups, you got 18 commitments, where would you like to focus for the last 7?
Well, there's a couple spots that we still have scholarships allocated, but when you start getting down to this point, you're also looking to take the best football player available. When you start, you have a grid in how many quarterbacks you want to carry, how many running backs to carry your full allotment of 85. And the exciting thing for us is this will be the first year we're going to be at 85 coming up. And so you've got your grid and what you're going to take, but at the same time, if you get full at one position and you've got another player that wants to come at that position, you take them. You're looking to take the best football players available as you get down to these final 7 scholarships that we're sitting here looking at right now. And so even though like to take another linebacker, like to take another defensive line with some of the spots that we have, like to take a quarterback, but at the same time we're looking at it and saying we want to take the best players available.
What's this week been like preparing for this offense?
You start with, you don't know who the quarterback's going to be, and evidently they've made an announcement who the starter's going to be. We got to prepare for both, and you've got one that's a little bit more athletic and a runner, and one that's a thrower. But I think for us, it's just been, like we talk about our team, it's about right now what we do, and that's what we have to be concerned about. We can't control UTSA, we can't control their experience, who plays for them, how they line up, what they do. All that we can make sure that we do is we go out and execute our football game, and that's kind of been the battle cry for these final 6 games as we're going into it. And we learned through the first 6, and what we've talked about as a team with some of the things that we've learned is that we've got to make sure we focus on doing our jobs, on what we have to do. And it's not about, okay, are you going to work harder when you play this team rather than that team because the record's better? We've just got to look at it. We have 6 left that we're guaranteed, and every one of them is valuable to us. And so we just got to make sure that we stay focused and we do what we have to do. And I've really liked the focus for the team this week, and I think they'll go out and I think they'll play hard. But the way they're practicing right now, I really like the attitude and the energy at practice.
Special teams, how do you feel like you haven't punt covered in 3 weeks now?
Right. And you'd like to hope you don't have 2 and 4, but I don't know how really realistic that is. But when you look at it, I think our kickers have done a really nice job. They've done a nice job. I'd like to see us be a little bit more consistent with our kickoffs, and then with the punts, I really like the way Logan's been punting the ball here in the last 2 weeks in practice. He's really been doing a nice job with some of his directional punting with everything, and that's been one of the problems when you're trying to direction kick to one side of the field and the ball's landing on the other. It's hard to cover and get everybody on the same page. But I think he's done a really nice job. I feel good about that. Ronnie Bradford's done a really good job with the special teams, and then you just have to go out and you have to be able to execute on game day. But I hope we kick the ball off a little better than we did last week, uncharacteristic of Jonathan Barnes, but we've got 34 kickoffs at this point, and we only have 4 touchbacks, and I'd like to see us get a little bit stronger with that. And then with the field goal kicking, those guys have been they're in a 1-kick competition almost every week. The difference is 1 kick, and so I feel like we got 2 really good kickers, and so we'll just keep working them this week and then make the decision off of that.
Defensively, for UTSA, their 2 defensive ends are good. They're physical up front in the front 4. How have you been able to prepare for those guys?
Going against our defense, you look at them, they're about the size of Vernon Butler. When you look at them up front, and you've got the energy that some of those guys play with, like Houston Bates and Dora, we can't get any better work than being able to go against our defense. And we've done that 20 minutes, about 30 minutes today and 30 minutes yesterday. So about an hour this week we've gone kind of good on good, where we're getting some good work against each other and getting some work against some quality defensive linemen. And I think it's helped us, but even with that, it's going to be a challenge because you look at everybody they've played, whether that was Arizona, Oklahoma State, that defensive line has penetrated and wreaked havoc. And we're just going to have a great plan against it and be able to attack it. We're going to have to challenge our players because you can't not play an offensive line. You have to have an offensive line, and it's going to be a challenge for us.
your defense has kept you in some games. Their defense, obviously, that's what they've been doing all year.
No doubt.
Do you think that Saturday could turn into a defensive battle?
I mean, it could. I mean, obviously, I would like to think that our defense is going to play that type of game coming out here. And we said at the beginning, with the experience that we have on defense, all three linebackers being seniors, experienced, everybody in the back end that is playing for us has played, is coming back. When you look at Grogan and Bryce and Woods and Liggins and Barnes, the defensive line, when you look at the experience of a Houston Bates and a Dora and a Vernon Butler, and that's why we said earlier, our defense is going to have to carry us some. You know, we got a lot of young players and new and inexperienced players playing on the offensive side of the ball, and if it comes out that way and that's the way we got to play it, we'll play it. And I'd like to think that if we have to come out and you got to win 43-41, you know, that you can come out and your offense can put some points up on the board where you can win that way. And I think that's the mark of a good team, not one that just the offense shows up or the defense every week, but you got to find the game plan that works as a team that you can play together.